All right. Well, while I'm doing this, I'm just sort of I'm literally going to add people that I added earlier as we talk and chat, um, and then hopefully they'll see it. Yeah. And okay. Well, that's fine because I got to go the wrong way. Sorry, talking to myself. I do that a lot lately. So, everybody, it's Saturday, April 3rd. It's a little after 7:30. Just getting our technical shit worked out because we're real professionals here. For everybody for the millions and thousands of people that are currently not logged in, for the millions and thousands of people 200 or 300 years from now, after the big dystopia, are finding these files and perhaps hopefully finding them entertaining or at least giving an insight to what life in 2021 is like. Mid-plague. Can we safely say mid-plague at this point there, Andy? I think.
Yep.
Sort of. And and I'm very self-aware of the fact that when no one's currently live yet, so I kind of just the audience is out there 200 years from now. But anyway, so yeah, I thought we would do something a little different. This is a bit of a experiment, but I've been going through a lot of my own recordings, but then also records that I've helped produce or play on, or old bands or all that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, like I said, last week, it sort of made sense. It's like, well, shit, let's start this process of getting some guests on, and of course, you were the first one that came to mind.
Thank you.
But anyway, so everybody who is here 200 years from now, Andy, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. 200 years from now.
We don't want to forget the ones from 300 years from now either. Now
300 years. I'm talking to you too.
And anybody in the future beyond this very moment,
right?
Under the assumption that this little file doesn't sort of what's what I'm looking for, like cause a mass extermination event somehow. No, you know what I'm talking about. I'm binge watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, nice.
The Marvel. I don't know if you've seen any of that one. I'm not even sure. Are you a Marvel guy?
I am. That's one of the few things I have not watched yet.
It was one of those things because they did say it's part of the canon, right? And so I sort of I've gone through all the movies from like the timeline, what came first and all that kind of stuff, and I was going to do it again because I know the Black Widow movie's coming out, I think now in July, it turns out. But I thought, all right, I'm going to have to do it all over again. That way I can insert the Black Widow movie where it comes in to the timeline, because apparently it's sort of in the middle of, like, I don't know, like it should, they should have done the movie 4 years ago or whatever. And so I thought, all right, I'll restart again. So but then I realized, I have not seen the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and there's a number of other TV show of the Marvel TV shows that are sort of part of the canon. And I thought, all right, I'm going to start it. And so I'm right now, I'm on just the beginning of season 5, and it's relentless.
You like it?
I do like it, but it's relentless. I mean, I don't think it was clearly not designed to be binged the way that I'm binging it, because it's really intense.
Nice.
It's kind of exhausting. Anyway, so of course, what's in my head are like, and it's not really any spoilers, alerts or anything. Of course, something went wrong. Yeah, it's not going to let me send it. But I'm not sure if it's going to let me send it. Well, all right, I'm going to do what I can as I go. And anyway, so I've been watching that, so that's been kind of partially what's been on my mind a lot lately, is that stuff.
I just watched Venom. I hadn't seen it.
Right. And that's another one I haven't seen the whole movie.
Right. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm glad there's going to be a sequel.
Is there going to be a sequel? I hadn't heard that.
This year. Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's not part of I know that the new Spider-Man is being filmed in London or whatever, and they're talking the whole multiverse thing, and so that's not part of the multiverse, is it?
I have no idea what their plan is, but since people really can't go to the movie theaters yet, they've
Well,
got to make it count when they put these movies out for your TV, you know?
that is for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm surprised. I was kind of hoping they would just like uh, uh, put the Black Widow movie just out, just get it done, get it
Yeah,
out.
I know.
It's been like 2 years or since it's been finished.
Right,
COVID put the kibosh on it, but
I did.
anyway. So as I do here, I don't know if I mean you've seen a few of my
Yep, I have.
here, so I talk a bit about this, that, and the other, and so obviously we're in the middle of a plague, and I know the both of us have been the uh, the victim of the universe and its joke telling past couple years, whatever. And we're here to talk about 10 Songs of Pain, which was released officially again. What we're talking 2015, right?
Yep,
And
August 7th.
that's crazy. Um,
Time
and
flies.
right. So for those, we were in the process of working on a follow up, EP of some sort, and that got delayed twice so far.
It did.
Because at that point we would have had this thing out 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
Timeline of it, right? Um, so the time between the two records is not as great as we wanted, but that said, I know I want to get back to potentially getting into action with that, and I know part of that is getting our shots and stuff, and kind of like I'm in the process of looking at how I'm going to set my house up so that things are as safe as possible with distancing and stuff, but that way we can still do work.
Right.
And that's the fun. That's the good part about having a house. It's like I can do whatever the fuck I want.
That's right.
So I've got the plans working, and kind of working up the schematic, sort of, if you will, of using both floors to make sure that we're good to go. So, I guess the question again, where we were at with Stewart, I haven't heard on his end where he's at with.
I did chat with him not too long ago. He said he was still interested in.
Cool.
I'll discuss it with him further when I get my second vaccine, and
right.
If that works and there's no problems from that,
right.
We'll be getting ready to go.
Well, same here. I get mine a week from Monday, so
good.
Assuming I don't grow a third arm in the middle of my chest on the day after.
I have a feeling you will not grow a third
arm. Yeah. So and so you said you've gotten the first shot as well, right?
I did 2 weeks ago.
Cool. If you don't mind me asking, which one did you get?
The Moderna vaccine.
Moderna. So I got the Pfizer. So interested to see what they were saying about the second dose. Seems like half the people that I know that have gotten that one, some have said that they were fine the day after. Some have said that they had the full-on sort of, flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, she got the second vaccine of Moderna, and there was no issue.
Oh, good. Though they say it's like either way, it's like even if you did get the side effects, that means that it's working. It means that
right.
You're doing what it's supposed to be doing. So yeah, so we just kind of go from there, and if Stewart gets his full on his double dose or whatever he's going to get, and then we kind of go from there. And so we would just need to get back together and just figure out what we're doing, the acting,
right,
where we left off.
It's funny, every time we meet, it's changed just a little bit from the original idea, because
oh right,
you
write songs.
I wrote a few songs that I liked and I think should be out, and now it's because of this plague, I would put out a quadruple album set if I could, because you just don't know what else is around the bend. So
Right, right, and that's the thing,
I
and I
wouldn't
think
do that to you. I would not go to you. We're doing a 4 album set. Clear your time.
listen, I'll give you I'll give you the Joe Auger Corp Productions deal,
I thank
for,
you.
for
I
return
appreciate that.
customers. But hey, me, I'd be all in for a 4 album set. It would just take forever to
It
do.
would take forever
God
to
knows
do.
what the hell.
You would want it to be like those old Warner Brothers collections that they used to put out in the early
Yeah, the
70s.
little box set. Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing of it is, you'd have to sign over your house to me or something. I don't know.
Whatever it takes.
It's one of those. I've this past year, especially, obviously for everybody, has been difficult, and you know, we've all kind of been hit financially for sure. But it's one of those things where I, as much as I hate money and I hate the idea of money and all that, in my head, I'm thinking, if I had just a windfall, if I was able to, win that $1 million or whatever the fuck it might be, or fall down that elevator shaft and sue the right people. And then I would have enough. I'd just say, Andy, don't worry about it. I'll cover the bill. Let's have some
Oh,
fun.
thank you.
That I
Well,
mean how my
well,
mind.
you never know. Anything's possible. Who'd
These
have
days,
thought? Who'd have thought we'd be walking around wearing a mask over our face? They do that in movies
yeah.
from the
Well,
movies.
and I know folks in China have done it because of the pollution. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I guess their dystopian landscape took a while to kind of get to America. you know, uh,
right.
So I mean, that said, I mean, not to me, it's very easy for me to kind of fall into that slight pit of despair if I'm not careful. And but I've been about as hopeful as I'll ever be as a human being. Another thing is that as one gets older, one realizes it's like, look, I'm not going to be the chipper dude that I was when I was 12. You know,
Right.
just happy, carefree, go lucky, making stupid faces. Reciting Monty Python ad nauseum to anybody who didn't want to
I
listen.
did it too. I
Right?
did it. No one understood it. I
No,
saw this show on Channel 36
right? Exactly. I mean,
Saturday night at like 7 o'clock. I got to explain
was it
this.
Saturday or Sun? Oh yeah, no. Well, I guess I think it moved around because I have a. It must have been Saturday night. You're absolutely right because it's like I remember watching it at my grandmother's house, and I had just moved back from Florida for a very brief stay in Florida with my parents. Um, yeah, that would have been like 78, like late 77, 78. And yeah, and I remember Saturday nights, and I would be in this little side room, which was my grandfather's room, with this tiny little color Sony, like one of their first tiny like little TVs. And 36 came in really well, but I also knew it was playing on Channel 2 every once in a while, which I didn't get as well, WGBH. So,
You ate that.
but I still have all of those cassette tapes because I was doing just like recording the audio from the TV.
I did it too. I did Monty Python, the two Ronnies.
Oh yeah,
Remember the
yeah,
two Ronnies?
oh yeah.
Um, what else? Oh, there was a show on for a short time called A Year at the Top. And it was about these two musicians that sold their soul to the devil, but they didn't realize that they sold their soul to the devil.
Is this a British show?
No, it was actually American. Uh,
Oh,
what's his name? Greg Evigan and Schaefer, Paul Schaefer
well,
was, yeah, he was starring in it.
oh, no kidding.
And
I'll have to look for
there's
that.
a video on YouTube somewhere of them playing this power ballad with Josh Mostel and I can't remember that third guy, but for its time, it was one of those power ballad
Okay.
things.
That I have no memory. I mean, I have memory of. Now this would have been closer to more like 75 or 6. I remember the Doctor in the House.
Doctor in the House, yep.
Obviously, Doctor Who during that time. Yeah, two Ronnies. Um, what else was
The
there?
Goodies.
Goodies. That's what I was. Yeah, the Goodies.
I
Yeah,
like.
no, those are great. Yeah, no, and they're it's like stuff all over, like, sort of all over YouTube. Thankfully, um, I think there was. I want to say there was one more that I watched every once in a while. What the hell was it? I mean, there was a lot. There was a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. PBS had all those comedies on at
It
one
was
point.
great. Yeah, no, it was like, yeah. I mean, it was. I remembered the first time they played Holy Grail on Channel 36, and it was just like, and it was for that was the first time I'd ever seen it. I had the soundtrack album, but I hadn't seen the movie. Obviously those was long before VHS and CD, DVDs and all that shit. And I just remember, man, that was talk about an event. Talk about it like a, you know, what's the word, what's the word I'm looking for? Something television, reservation television, whatever. Um, I just remember when I was going to come on, and I was just ready and set to go, and I had my soda or my trips or whatever. That audio was making sure I hit the thing right at the right click. Yeah. Oh my god.
It's the greatest movie ever. I never get sick of it. I watch it every chance I get. I think it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah,
Always did. Even when I didn't quite get the jokes, it was just so crazy that
you didn't have to. Yeah,
yeah, it was just beautiful.
I saw. Well, so oddly enough, to segue slightly out of that through into the plague, and then eventually now into into the music. The last thing that I went to before we all kind of went underground last year was when John Cleese was at the Veterans with his daughter, and he was doing a live appearance, and they were playing Holy Grail first, and then Cleese and his daughter comes out and talks about it and takes questions and all that stuff. And I hadn't seen the movie in a while actually, and especially theater sort of setup. I hadn't seen it like really, and it was a nice, clean, new, the remastered version,
Oh,
beautiful, sounded beautiful. And I wasn't sure how it was going to hold up because I just know, because it so well in your head. It's like anything that you just watch over and over again. But yeah, no, sure enough, man. And actually, when you see it on a big screen like that, all nice and remastered, that film, I mean, as much as it kind of has that dingy kind of, very authentically, it's a really beautiful film, beautifully filmed. I mean, you can tell like the Gilliam sections, like when his stamp of it, of his, of his directing on there is really obvious, obviously in a good way.
right.
And of course, then Cleese comes out and his crazy self. So that was a lot of fun. And of course, I was there with my old friend Keith Munslow,
Oh,
a high school friend who that's how we bonded, was over
I know,
Python.
Keith.
So yeah, that was kind of a fun night. But anyway, and then the plague happened, and here we are a year and some odd later.
Yeah,
So there we go. There's that. But I think that's a lot of the thread that binds many of us together, and especially in Rhode Island, it's just such a small little community of people, and most of the people that I get along with, that I can count on literally one hand, are like you're one of them, Keith. Is people that we have that similar kind of mindset of, you know, we try really hard not to take much seriously because you just can't. But that's the hard part. I think, some of us are easier at not taking things seriously, but I need that reminder. You know,
sure.
like today, I went record diving as I do over to in ear radios records, and found a bunch of Spike Jones CDs,
Oh,
and
nice.
talking about box sets. It was a big this old style 70s. Looks like it might have been like a TV offer type of box set, 3 LPs for $4 of all kinds of Spike Jones shit. It's just like, that's like a no brainer.
My dad had My Old Flame on 78.
Oh man, that would have been. God knows where that is now. That's probably
I don't know, but he
yeah,
did.
yeah. So that's where my head is at for sure. So, um, so maybe I don't know. Maybe that's what the follow up EP should be like. Rock and roll mixed with Spike Jones somehow.
Yeah, we have four. We have 8 sides to fill on that 4 record set, so I
That's
better get
right.
cracking.
We're gonna have to figure out who's gonna box that sucker. Yeah,
I
especially if we're doing vinyl. Shit.
might have to do it myself.
Well, we get enough people at the house. Hopefully by then COVID will
And
be a
they
bit.
will all be. We will all be vaccinated by then, hopefully.
Yes, yes, and I'm again trying to remain hopeful in all of that will actually that enough people will get it done, and won't be stupid about it to hopefully vanquish this. If not that, dude, then we all got to kind of figure out some sort of some sort of caravan to New Zealand.
Yeah,
If that's possible. I don't know if there's a road that leads from here. No, probably not.
there's always something. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Anyway, so we are here tonight to listen to a record that we did. Started in what year? Remind me.
The beginning, the end of 2008, the beginning of 2009. I had done one song, the 11th song, in an office, and that
That's
was
right.
late in 2008.
That's right. That's right.
And then the beginning of the year, we recorded the drums.
Right. So we had done. You had sent me demos, but then we did. Right. I had you come in using the DAT machine to my office, and we did. Yeah, we recorded that. Yeah, that's right. So that's right because we never redid the 10th song. That's right. And then we went to well, remember we were originally it was on January. We were originally going to try and do drum tracks at the Everyman.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the name of that place was. It
Yeah.
escaped my head because that's where it all started.
Well, that's it.
When
The open mic that I used to do at Custom House, and then that closed, and then Lee Reynolds, opened up the Everyman, and I asked her, hey, can we possibly use this as I figured it was a nice open space? It probably would have sounded pretty cool. And then she promptly forgot to meet us there.
Yeah, and it was like 300 below zero that day.
Wasn't it snowing too?
It was like biting cold. It was unbelievable. And
so Mike Rovin, who plays the drums on this, is basically the only. Oh no, I don't want to. Actually, that's not correct. That's not true. I was about to say the only other musician on the record, but the more of that will come later. There's actually two other musicians on this, and not including the crowd of people, but Mike did all the drum tracks on this, and no, but did we went to his house that day? Didn't we?
We went to his house that day, and we his wife was with the kids.
Right.
We were not expected to come in, and we went downstairs and recorded, I think, half of it.
Yeah.
And then we did another session maybe a week later.
Was it only just? Yeah, it wasn't. I don't remember it as
being 2 or 3 sessions with Mike listening to my original. Well, let me go back a little bit. I had recorded the songs, re-recorded the demos with a click.
Right.
And that's what
we did in the offices, right? Yeah.
Right. That's what he played to, and I, was waving my hands like a lunatic to conduct. Which who knows if that was even needed, but it was one of those days, and my arms were just flying all over the place, and he followed me and he followed the click, and he did a great job. Mike Rovin, you did a great job.
Yeah, he did, and I think we were trying to, we had we were up against a few things, one of which was definitely sort of a certain amount of like. Someone's trying to get in. Actually, I'm gonna try and see if I can get him the link. Someone was trying to get in. I was trying to see if I could get them the link. Anyway, so we were, we were trying to get out of there quickly. I think it was.
Yeah.
So we were there 2 or 3 times. I don't remember exactly, but, So, that's the only thing.
My plan at first was to have different drummers.
Right.
Like Mike would record a few songs, and then I would get another friend of mine who played drums to do a few songs, and we talked about it, and it it just wasn't the right thing to do. We both felt that Mike should play the drums on the whole thing, and
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, that made sense. I think the just to kind of get especially if we had like both Stewart and Mike on there, they're both such unique drummers that it would have. I felt like it would have been maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it just might not have stitched together as well as it did.
yeah, it had to be one drummer.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I want to check one more thing here. No, I don't want to do that. Sorry, I'm doing two things at
No
once.
problem.
I'm trying to see if I can get the folks in this room, seeing if there's anybody there. Yeah, someone is. Worst comes to worst, we could try this. It's either that or they restricted what I can do up here on Facebook, which is very possible. I'm not sure if I'm fully out of the jail or if I'm just in the outer room. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, so it's funny. I'm looking here at the. I was looking here at the CD, and I hadn't looked at the package in a while. It's funny because I'm just looking at the the hammer coming down, and then I completely forgot about that photo of the photo of
Yep, I see it.
with the hammer come down on him.
That was the work of John Nicolai, who's a
Uh-huh.
good friend of mine, and he's a photographer, and he does graphic arts as well, and he's the one who designed the album cover.
Right.
Yep.
Suitably suitably creepy for sure with the kind of like the lighting that we have right now going on with you, and it's absolutely suitable, right? I
Yeah.
like the back cover. I think the most. Uh,
A
that,
DJ in Europe that played it
yeah,
said that I sounded like Doctor Who. But not, no, that I looked like Doctor
look
Who.
like yeah, I could totally, dude.
I had the Doctor Who scarf.
You have a vibe, dude. You have a vibe for sure. um, the I think that you know I mean, you know me. I'm sort of a guy like I think that there it kind of comes like across like that black like a nice a black and white movie. Real like the the era of the Frankenstein movies. It definitely has that vibe. So he did a really good job. I like that. If I was trying to check and seeing if anybody's going to get back on here. Let's see. Actually, I want to see if I can. Yeah, no, it clicks for me. Well, maybe it's just because it's. Uh, yeah, it seems to work for me. So I don't see why it's not working for anybody else. I don't know. Like I said, this may just be for the people that are 300 years from now. Anyway, so well, what I figure I could do is let's start the process here. So obviously, we started recording this back in 2008 or so. Finally released in 2015. So do the math of that. So we're talking 5, 6, 7 years working on this record with
Almost. Yeah.
actually 15 songs, and basically mostly recorded at my house, but the drums recorded at Mike's house. But we did do well. The notes say recorded in an office, a basement, 2 living rooms, and a Unitarian church.
Yeah.
It's slightly cryptic, but we'll come to that when we get to those songs. So anyway, to start us off, how does one start off a record like this? Well, start off with the only song that could potentially start it off, uh, which is a song called "Denial," which I think is a pretty. It's whenever I was unsure of this song starting the record for a while. To be honest, I don't know if I ever relayed that to you
Yeah.
because the rest of the record has so many different ups and downs and facets and sounds, and it's almost any one of the songs on the record could have started the record. You know what I mean? Because they're all that different, which is to me that's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, but I think it's kind of worked that it was just a kind of a nice, simple kind of rock and roll song. So anyway, for those listening, 200 years from now, this is a song called "Denial." Oh, let's start that. Right. Thanks. First song, thoughts?
Um, the idea I had the the riff around for quite a while. I was actually going to call it "Mime in Denial"
What
about
was it?
a mime,
Mime in Denial.
yeah,
Oh,
a
okay.
mime in denial.
Oh,
And when I was writing the words, it my original idea didn't go with how I was feeling at the time, and I wanted to make it like a song about not taking no for an answer.
right.
So you might think I'm crazy, but I'm not taking no for an answer. It's one of those type of songs. At least I tried to make it that way.
Um, I know for me, it was, in talking about what some of the other things that we gravitate to as in a pop culture kind of way is I always heard this as a sort of a song that should have been on "Dressed to Kill" by Kiss. You know what I mean?
Wow,
Like it's
thank
got that
you.
real simple. It's got that real simple. bass drums, guitars, and that's it, and one vocal, and just sort of like um, yeah, that kind of jackhammer just thing, just a real good kind of rock and roll song. It's got that slightly dusky kind of haze about the mix. You know what I mean? It's not pristine. It's that it's not hair metal by any stretch. It was you know so yeah. So that again, I think that was the song that could only really start that record. So anyway, but you could sort of kind of hear that it was starting to it was it was crossfading in the parlance. For those of you who don't know parlance, the crossfading means that it's going from one song to another. Because I'm as a producer, of course, I'm probably over fond of that shit. But even when we did our first cassette, I remember somebody reviewed it, who's saying lovingly overproduced by Joe Auger, and it's like, yeah, okay, I could live with that. I could live with that. So, but they seem to like it. I remember was that Mike Cato who said that?
No, he trashed it.
He trashed it.
Yeah, it was the worst review ever. Took the sword and took the knife and went.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, it's funny. Mike still kind of keeps in touch via, Instagram and stuff. I didn't know he was on one of my chats a couple weeks ago, or whatever. But it's pretty funny that say much the same to one of my records as well. So it's just like, yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's all good.
And I think you and I both know it's like for this kind of work, for this kind of music, you're never gonna please everybody.
No, you can't please everybody.
No, there's no point. There's no point in trying, and there's no point in trying to fool yourself. Anyway, that's it. So going forward, we're going to go into the next song called "Tree Climbing Goats." So what's the pretext of that one?
I was at my friend Kerry's house, and Kerry showed me a postcard. I think it was from like South America, and it was all these goats up in a tree, and I thought it was the funniest thing I ever saw in my life. I was hysterical. They were just looking at the camera. They were all up in a tree. So she told me they're tree climbing goats, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great title for Lying in Denial. And I went home and I had a bill. I took the bill, threw it away, and took the envelope and wrote "Tree Climbing Goats" on the back of an envelope. And I had told her, hey, we were playing music at the time. I said, hey, I wrote this song, "Tree Climbing Goats," and she thought it was hilarious. But the song, it makes sense to me through the chorus, and where you tell somebody you want to change, but it's a game you're just going to lose. And that made, when I wrote it, I was like, wow. But the rest of the song really has nothing to do with that chorus. It's just an angry song on the verses, kind of melancholy in the chorus.
Right. Well, I think that when you're in that state of mind, you don't have to make much sense, especially when you're trying to work out through a song.
And believe me, I don't make a lot of sense sometimes.
Well, again, as a songwriter, I know where you're coming from, so that I think that's just a sort of a potentially normal thing. All right, so we're going to move then. We're going to listen. We're going to hear. We'll bring this back so we can hear the little crossfade between Denial and Tree Climbing Goats. So here we go.
What have I done? I'm climbing a tree when I should be eating you, I know, and clenching my fist, shouting blasphemous things. In front of my folks, it's all a show. It's all a show. Where have I been? To hell and back, and I have a man who has sinned and cannot make up for what I've done. So I do not ask for forgiveness. I feel it's best to just move on. Can't we move on? What have I done? I'm climbing a tree when I should be eating you, I know, and clenching my fist, shouting blasphemous things in front of my folks. It's all a show. It's all a show. I wanted to change. I wanted to prove to you that I could be good too. It's all a game, a childish game that I'm destined to always lose. I wanted to change. I wanted to prove to you that I could be good too. It's all a game, a childish game that I'm destined to always lose. I wanted to change. I wanted to prove to you that I could be good too. It's all a game, a childish game that I'm destined to always lose. I'm destined to always lose. I'm destined to always lose. I'm destined to always I'm destined to always I'm destined to always
On a good old fashioned fade.
Yeah.
Nobody does those anymore.
Nope.
I know that once we had gotten to the point of realizing that each song would really sound potentially very different from each other, that I know that I remember a couple of conversations of saying, just really kind of incorporating, classic album um, production styles, plural, and things like fade outs or fade ins for that matter, or quick edits or crossfades, and all the various things that we hear on all of our favorite albums that these days seem to
Right.
exist.
Hand
And,
claps.
hand claps, lots of tambourine, lots of
Yeah.
raucous. Yeah, I mean, to me again, that's like that, especially that Mellotron sound coming in, just like that. This could be such a long lost. Like that's the kind of the lovely thing about this too. Even just looking at the cover art and listening to some of these songs, it's not, and then, whether we did it really that on purpose or not, it's like the record itself in general is so varied. You can't pinpoint when it was made. You really can't. Like if someone were to just here, listen to this, like with no information, like about when it was recorded. And I think that's, I think that's somehow it's secret. It's like it's little, that's its superpower on this record, is that it's not tied to any sound, especially since we were using reel to reel, and so it certainly doesn't have that full on digital scene, sheen to it.
One more thing about tree climbing goats. I don't know if you remember this, but you and I both had like incredible allergy problems during the recording of the vocals,
Yes.
And how we were able to do the background is beyond me, because I could not breathe the whole time.
We, and of course, at the time, I'm living out in this tiny moldy apartment out in the woods of Tiverton, uh, and having to depending. I mean, we recorded at all seasons during those 5 or 6 years,
Yeah.
between spring, summer, and fall. So one or the other of us, if we, would either call and say, I'm not feeling it today, or I got to work, or we would just find an hour here or three, God knows, we probably, the longest recording session we ever did might have been 2 hours, 3 hours. We're there just chipping stuff away. But yeah, those like especially on that one, the one thing that was good about when I have an allergy, or like if I've got a cold or something, I'm lucky in that my voice, I'm able to actually hit that slightly higher voice.
Great, yeah.
Like it's a lovely irony that I feel like shit, but I can hit that note. So fuck it, So like if I get sick like that and I've got work to do, I like purposefully like keep that stuff until I have either an allergy situation or whatever. It's just something happens to my vocal cord that I don't know, creates a.
Yeah, it came out good.
I don't know, it's weird. So yeah, and that was, to me, again, a lot of fun on this record, is that you and I did all the vocals to it. That was a lot of fun. And I remember during those vocal sessions that you had to have the Santa Claus mug.
That's right, Santa Claus mug would, because I kept having fits of laughing, and for no reason. So if I concentrated on the mug, I wouldn't laugh, and it worked.
I don't know if I realized to what extent that was the deal.
Oh yeah, I'm ridiculous.
It became sort of totemic, I think, toward the end by that time. So, I mean, because we did pretty much do, I mean, obviously we did like the drums and rhythm guitars first. Because remember, we had drums down, and I also had you do rhythm guitars. Remember, so I was also doing a record for Marilyn at that point at her house.
We recorded a lot of the guitars in her house.
Yeah, so that initial, I had taken. So we had recorded the drums to 8 tracks, I believe. If I remember correctly, I had him listening to the demo in 1 or 2 years or whatever. Or was it 6 tracks? Jeez, I'd have to go back and look at the tapes, to be honest. I don't know if it was 6 or 8. Anyway, but then I had done a mix down of those drums to 2 track, and then had you do a lot of rhythm guitars, both acoustic and electric. And then I was going to do another reduction from there to add everything else. And that's where we did that, and then dumped that to 16 tracks. So, talk about old school record making. I mean, shit.
Old school.
Yeah. So we did pretty much, in that order: guitars, bass. Did we do lead vocals and then do peripheries? I'm trying to remember.
We did lead vocals kind of last, if my memory's right.
Or did we do like scratch vocals? I don't remember.
I'd come over for a little while and do background vocals.
Yeah.
It was sort of like we were just chipping away.
I know. I have books of lists everywhere. It's funny. I'll open up a half like blank notebook that are just like that, millions of them around the house, and I'll look through them and just see if there's stuff that I can just get rid of. And there's multiple repeated lists of the songs and what they want needed, and stuff crossed out, and just like it'd be funny to compile it all. But anyway, so the third song is I Turn Around.
I wrote that on my 12-string guitar, just watching TV. It just came, and I scribbled it down. I never brought it to a band or anything, because I don't think I did, but I always wondered when I was going to be able to record that. And I think I did bring it to a band I was in.
Oh, yeah.
It just came in one, I just scribbled it down. It was done.
I know Richard Thompson says that he writes most of his songs while watching television. So there must be something. There must be
There's
something.
something to it.
Yeah. You're being fed some subliminal messages.
Me?
It comes all of us if you're watching television, but then you're writing a song about it.
Oh yes, right song.
Can't write song. So like whatever, it's coming through the song here. Anyways, so this next one is called "I Turn Around."
So I don't have to see
So the the diptych of those two songs I think is very interesting. First, I Turn Around is like one of my favorite productions of anything that I've ever recorded. To be honest, if there was something that we just and again, not having listened to these in a while, I love kind of having that little bit of distance from it to kind of be a little more objective. You know how when you're I don't know what when I'm in the middle of a project like this, it's like sometimes I come to the point where it becomes all encompassing and you lose perspective. And every single one of the projects I've ever done in the past 30 or whatever couple of years, I at some point lose perspective of the project. So that happened on your project. I don't think I ever told you that.
No, wow, that's amazing.
It's a thing that happens to me as a producer that it's not something I want to burden, the person I'm producing with. It's especially with a big project, like, something that's like a small, like a four song, 5 song EP or something. Those are less, but we're talking about a 15-song epic.
Called
Well,
10 Songs of Pain.
Yeah. Right. We have to give voice to that,
Hey.
to the pain in those 10 songs, right?
Yeah, it was a tough time. But yeah, I Turn Around 2 times at least I know of. They played it on a radio station in Niagara Falls, Canada.
Oh wow!
And to hear it a couple of times, and
cool.
It was the most different sounding song of anything they were playing. It just washed in and washed out like a wave, and then they went back to punk and alternative. But it was great that the song was in there.
It's and again, it's I have in part 2 of the Instagram live here because they want to give you 40 minutes. Yeah, no, there was just like there's. I mean, it's not like your typical ballad. It's sort of it's not really about love. It's about something a little more ephemeral. At least that's the way that I took those lyrics. Anyway, you may have a slightly different, obviously.
It's one of those like I'm looking away. I don't want to know, and I don't understand it anyway, and nothing you could do is going to hurt me. That's basically
right. It's very and it's a very enlightened sort of state of being, really. Is that what TV does to you there, Andy? Does it enlighten you?
Yeah, I can't remember what. I must have been watching something.
I would be interested if
paying attention to.
Right.
But I had a guitar in my hand. I was sitting in a beach chair that belonged to my parents. It was like the most uncomfortable thing ever, and I was leaning on a desk with a pen, jotting this down. So somehow it worked out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when you're writing something like that, obviously, however it's produced, and I appreciate you allowing me to really kind of inhabit literally kind of putting these songs on me like a suit. You know what I mean?
You were the only guy who could do it.
Well, I appreciate that. That's I mean, a lot of the records that I've done for people are mostly as like an engineer / producer, So what input I might have in arrangements or something is sometimes limited, But for some of these things, you kind of gave me a little bit of, for good or bad, dude. You kind of gave me like carte blanche.
It was a very good experience, all the way. No issue. You were the guy.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, not that said, it's like, yeah, you were very clear about like if you didn't like something, obviously. What's funnier is that I was looking at, because they're still up online on YouTube. Remember, I was sending you mixes via YouTube,
right?
and I was like, that picture that you had of you in the marching band outfit, which
Looking
you know
miserable.
I still think is potentially still the greatest alternative cover. But that's um, and so I have just for shits and giggles, I have a couple of those queued up if you'd be interested in hearing them, because there's a couple on there that are fucking nuts that I just like, I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I know what I was thinking at the time, but it's like, oh man, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So no, but I turn around. I like so that uh the layers we were putting on of 12 string. I made the drums kind of sound very echoey. Again, I was looking for a very kind of Brian Wilson-y, Phil Spector-y ish, but not really.
I remember we put on a Archie's sounding keyboard, and then we put on a harpsichord over that.
Oh well, now we're talking about even I can dream. Okay, well, so
and the solo part with the like a glockenspiel type.
Less kind of sound, yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to go for that Monkey's headquarters thing.
We channeled that production, and I think and I'm not ashamed of that, because like we totally, like, especially the background vocals. I mean, dude, we're channeling the Monkees. I mean, in such a just in the in the arrangements and how we like executed it and all that. It's so Monkees headquarters. It's not. I mean, it's one of those ones actually I would love to send to like
I would be great
like
if you could.
Mickey Dolenz and say, hey, just so you're understood. Actually, I'm actually friends with Chip Douglas on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I'd love to send it to him and say, look, just so you're aware, 50 years down the pike, this was kind of an homage to the style of that production. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely like, between the drum sound, the keyboard stuff going on, just that, obviously the percussion stuff. Well, just one more thing to say about it. I turn it around though. I just remember when we were putting on that sort of church Hammond-y organ stop sound, and I hit something. I put it through some sort of reverb, or like a double reverb. I forget exactly how I did it or what happened, but I just remember that when we were putting it down, it created this whole other sympathetic, like, thing on the top that because it's just I had later on I was listening to some of the multi-tracks, and that's not on the multi-track. It was whatever I was able to add in the mix or something, and I just in listening to that, it's like one of the more thrilling production moments where that's just like that accidental like thing where just like the gear took over. What I mean?
It was so unique sounding. It didn't need bass. If you remember, I just used
no bass on that, right?
Bass to two notes back and forth, and it worked.
Yeah, it's very.
But it doesn't need bass, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. I think, did we actually put bass on it and then take it out? Like,
once you heard it, you were like, this sounds good as is. And I thought about it. I was like, you're right. It does. It doesn't need anything extra.
Oddly enough, yeah. It's sort of like it's tethered by a to the ground by just like a piece of rope, just like kind of like this, just floating, just ready to take off if you cut the wire,
Right.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of my favorites. So that one, and then going into Even I Can Dream, is just sort of somehow they just now Even I Can Dream. The only other thing that I remember about that is like just a lot of those background vocals, like that whole front section with the snare drum coming in. That was all flown in vocals from the second or third verse after the solo or whatever, that I just thought would kind of be a great way to.
And it did. I really liked the way it came out. I had written that. I think I wrote that watching TV as well, and I know, and
it works, man. Whatever.
Well, I remember going to the Everyman and trying it out,
and
I remember when I said the chorus, people paid attention and laughed a little bit. But I remember our friend Mark was doing this, and I knew I had something. I knew I had something. I saw him doing the pirate dance thing, and I was like, "That I have something." And everywhere I play it, people they're like, "Oh yeah," they're talking, and then they look up and they hear me saying, "I'm trying not to lose my friggin' mind." They're like,
well, you know,
yeah.
well, you know, you don't expect obviously to hear. You know, I mean, you don't say fucking friggin'. So,
No.
And I think that's the trick, the lovely trick about that chorus is the fact that like you don't, though it's funny that it says it's explicit up on wherever you can buy it. I think there's some of the some of the tracks that come up is explicit. It's like friggin' is explicit apparently. There's someone on Instagram is saying, "Hey Rob, I can see you on Instagram. If you were playing the music of my friend Andy Lampert, so if you go to Facebook Live as well, you can see and hear both myself and Andy talking together and listening to the record. So, but hey, thanks for joining in, man. Haven't seen you in a while. So too many cameras, too many people I'm trying to talk to. But I think so now, of course, I can't get that image in my head of Mark Carter doing it.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, right.
If you're listening.
No, I think that's the hook of that song. Oddly enough, is when you say that because it's just so. It's about as vulnerable as any of us can get when we're in that moment, and it's just like, yeah, you don't necessarily, to say the word. I've thought long and hard about how the swearing and cursing is so big because it's a big part of my life. Obviously, it's a big part of my vocabulary, for good or bad. My friends and supervisors at work, they've for 19 years they have had a hard time reining me in with my potty mouth. So, but a word like friggin' is like no one says that anymore, really.
I remember I played it at a convention in Cape Cod. I got the gig because a friend of mine was trying to promote. He had a recording studio. He wanted to promote one of the people that recorded there. So he said, why don't you go to Cape Cod? So I drove to Cape Cod and I'm at this Marriott hotel and we're in a function room. And, I do Even I Can Dream. And I remember when I got to the chorus, people were all like, blah, 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 blah. And when they got to the chorus, they were like,
way to get their attention, man. And you had them from there, man. Listen, there's a reason why they're called expletives,
Yes.
So the next song is called "I Won't Be Surprised."
I wrote that, believe it or not, I wrote that because I wanted to somehow send it to Ronnie Spector because I wanted Ronnie Spector to record it. I don't know how to do and to send to artists, but hopefully someday. I try. It wasn't like the Phil Spector-ish Ronettes, but sort of like when she left Phil and was trying to get her feet, and she was recording some stuff. But I always liked the song, and maybe someday she will record it. So it'd be nice.
She seems she's outlast us all, right? All right, yeah. With that in mind, let's play "I Won't Be Surprised."
People are scared, they run away and leave me alone.
Remember recording the hand claps?
Oh
Then we
man.
went out to D'Angelo's, and then we went back and recorded more hand claps.
Oh yes. I don't remember that detail. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's again, not having heard that in a while. I love that the hand claps just have so much real estate in this song. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Normally the hand claps are sort of like in the background, but it's just like between every pause of the lyrics, smack, smack.
Yep.
Love that. Yeah. So, like I said, it's fun. It's fun to go to listen back to some of these things. The thing that like in going back for doing this chat and listening to old records and things um and the fear is always that, okay, does this hold up, um for especially as from the producer standpoint of like, how does this does the sound of the record hold up? I think I kind of broached a little bit of this earlier tonight, but um and again, I suppose as producer, there are parts of me that, like, because of the nature of what I had technologically at the time, we were using those Emu racks for all of our keyboard and percussion and string sounds, um, and mellotrons and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then we were also using that guitar modeler that I had. And we got again, the thing that is nice is that there's I like an album that has like a very large palette of guitar color. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, that said, of course, you're going to get like a Kiss record, like Dress to Kill. They all sound pretty much the same. Yeah, but that's again, that's a specific type of record. So I don't fault it for that. It's just that, like, for me, a pop record, I like to hear, you know, different tones on the fuzz or whatever it might be, and it's but yeah, that's again, you're looking at a lot of these songs are all these are all pop song lengths, really. There's 3 minutes 10 for that. Um, the shortest song on this record is well, the 11th song, of course, is.
Right.
But, the second shortest is I Can't Be That Bad. But then the longest, of course, was the very last record, the very last song, which is 641, of course, because that's the epic end of the record. But we're not there yet. So for shits and giggles, first thing I got to do is I got to bring my. I forgot to move my picture there. I have, so what I think I'd mentioned to you. So I had pulled up a couple of things from the YouTube channel, just for shits and giggles, and because some of this stuff I haven't heard like in ages, obviously, but so it's kind of an interesting time capsule, I think, potentially, to hear some of these. If you're into it, you would tell me. Yeah. We would tell the hundreds and the thousands of people that these versions are not available anywhere else, but only on my YouTube channel. YouTube channel exists 300 years from now. It's pretty funny if it does. So this is the next song on the record is called "That's What the parentheses psychic said." I remember we went back and forth for a while about whether to just put it as psychic said, whether to put the parentheses around "that's what the," the vagaries of like album production are very kind of funny sometimes. I just remember us talking about that, and it's like it's very obvious to me now, but at the time it somehow wasn't obvious. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, during production somehow I lose perspective.
I wrote that one when I was playing with these two other guys. I thought up the song. We played it, and we played it live a couple of times. And I knew there was something there. It wasn't exactly what it became, but I knew if I kept working on it, it would come out to something decent. And I like the fact on this recording that it starts off with an acoustic guitar, and you think it's going to continue to do that when all of a sudden, mayhem. And
Yeah.
that's what I like about this track.
Well, I think it was the mayhem that somehow, because of the nature of what lyrically it was talking about, and the sort of the story in the song, and I know, again, same thing. I just remember having talks about, like, how do we personify it orally in the song and all this kind of stuff. So I just remember doing a number of really weird mixes of this one, but this is the weirdest one. So I'm going to play. And this is, again, this is a non-mastered mix, and it just says Psychic said Psycho Mix number 2, because there was apparently a first Psycho Mix.
That's number 2, folks.
This isn't the second Psycho Mix, because I'm not sure where the first one is. But anyway, and you can see what I was doing also with I was having a lot of fun with the picture when I was putting these up on YouTube. I was like, well, you'll see what the picture looks like here. Anyway, so here is Psychic said, this is unreleased Psycho Mix number. This is for the box set that'll come out in 100 years.
That's right.
Yeah, here we go. No, hang on. Oh, there we go.
Yes, she was the one I
pickle mix too. That's good.
That's funny. I just, um, yeah. I mean, that mix was what it was. I don't know. I needed to. I was clearly just needing to just do something completely ridiculous with the way that like that second half came in. All right. So I've got a few. There's a few people on now. Thankfully, Stuart's on. Stuart Powers is here. Say, Stewie.
Hey,
We were just talking about you earlier too. Um, we're all just waiting to get vaccinated so we can get back to work. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what. So let's listen to the actual released mix of "That's What They'll Like," except because it is very different. So let's do one thing here. Okay.
Yes, she was the one I wanted to marry. But last
the
Disco era string section.
totally. I think between the sort of that's those the strutting, the chug chug strings there. In my head though, for a split second, and I don't know if I ever made this connection, is the fact, those, those chugging sort of. I mean, they weren't like the sort of the psycho strings that are like really up like high like this, but in my head, I'm wondering if the word psychic, psycho, somehow that Bernard Herrmann violin or
Oh, wow.
string section thing somehow was in my head. I don't know when I was thinking of putting those kinds of strings on there. And of course now I would want to hear this just for shits and giggles to hear what that would sound like with them being high and shrill, like.
Sure.
But I'd forgotten how fucking nuts that mix, like the finished mix of it is. All nice and mastered, and kind of hear everything doing what it's supposed to be doing, and it's that one's a good one. That's a good one. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the mix. So the next song is one of the tent posts of the record, which technically I think we always said would have been like the end of side one. It was Warsaw. Now I know you've told me the story of this one before.
Well, without getting too deep,
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
say I spent a few days in Warsaw, Poland in 2008, and the experience was a unique one. And I remember flying back to the United States. There wasn't enough people on my flight, so they put me on a flight to Georgia, which meant more hours on the plane. So it was a 10.5 hour flight.
Yeah.
And I sat next to this doctor from the Czech Republic, and they give you those little things of wine, and well, I don't drink, but I drank that, and it was awful. But I was a little tipsy, and I told this woman, this doctor, the whole story, and she paused and said, "You're crazy." So, so I had the window seat, and I was looking out, and I said, "You know what? I should write a song that when I come back, things are going to go my way when I come back." And that's how Warsaw was written.
That's funny. I mean, in defiance of all evidence, right there in front of your eyes. As a songwriter, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know,
And I thought it up on the plane home.
Slightly tipsy. No.
Well, yeah.
Well, right. So this one, of course, also has the lovely. Again, this was meant to be about as epic as you get as far as production goes.
It was epic, all right.
Sparing no sparing no. I don't know the word I'm looking for. So anyway, so this is Warsaw, and one of the things that's on here is this lovely crowd of people at the end of the record of the song, which was the very last thing recorded as far as basic tracks goes.
Yeah. That was truly a great night. I had friends there. It was just like coworkers, friends. It was just awesome. It really was. Even my wife was there, screaming along.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're talking sort of old school ish types of record making. I mean, same thing. I mean, I knew for a while that's what we wanted to do, was to rent the Mediator Hall, because we could do what we wanted. We could do it in private, but we would have a big enough space. I mean, now I could do this in my basement for sure, but not quite the same.
Right.
And but I also remember, we needed the whole day, because we were also going to be doing sax tracks, which we did first. And which again, those will be coming up on a later song. And I just it's one of those things. It's like on the run record making where we have just very limited time, trying to wrangle a bunch of people to do something they had no rehearsal. Trying to conduct
Nothing.
them.
They just came in. We said, "This is how it goes, everybody," and they just went for it. It was just so odd. That was just such a great night.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. That's the kind of record making I miss. So yeah, like you said, once we can get back on track with this stuff, hopefully. So anyway, this is a song called Warsaw.
I went up in a plane, thoughts swimming round in my brain. What was gonna happen when I land in Poland? I got off of the plane, that's when I went insane. When I saw you at the gate, holding his hand.
That's I think where the term lovingly overproduced comes into play here.
I remember I liked the bass line I put on there,
Yeah.
and when I recorded the keyboards, the hair on my neck stood up because it was so like it was almost like Uriah Heep type.
Oh, well, totally. I mean, that was clearly what was in our head was a little bit of Status Quo in there.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
said it.
yeah. So I mean, but again, there are some songs that just need whatever it is they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, so we flip the virtual record over, and we would go to the next song. Which so I know this one, and this was the other song that I was going back and forth with starting the record on.
Oh wow.
This was another one of those ones where it was, and so that's I think why I felt like putting it as the opener of like the second side
Right.
made sense. But and almost in a way, it's like if someone were to start the record backwards, like Annoying Qualities through and then went to Denial, like it somehow would still work because Warsaw would still work as a record ender. We kind of, and as we will listen to eventually, that's kind of sort of almost what we did with the Priest, but but anyway, yeah. So this was the other song that I was back and forth with about.
We recorded the background vocals with all those people at the media, but we decided not to use it.
Yep.
This is the oldest song on the record. I wrote this
a
really long time ago. I was having a conversation with my friend Janet, and we were talking. We used to work together, and we were, after we had both left, I think we were talking about those days of when we worked together, and she was talking about someone we worked with, and she says, he's a great guy and everything, but he has these like annoying qualities that just drive me crazy, or something like that. And I said, I'm writing a song called Annoying Qualities. I had a slice of pepperoni pizza in one hand, a pen in the other, and I just scribbled it away. And I tried it with bands. It always went over good. And even when I
just with the electric
it always went over good.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, it's a good old sort of, it's like a rock and roll staple, I think, to me. At least in my mind, it is. For those of
T-Rex.
Yeah, right. So clearly, what you will hear on this coming record, and this is something we chatted about. Again, the crowd part notwithstanding, I think we, especially considering where we ended up putting it on the record, having two songs right next to each other that both had the crowd on it seemed a little bit gratuitous. Somehow we found a moment to have a little taste here, so I don't know. At least, or I did as producer, thinking like but I know there is a mix that exists of that with the crowd, but anyway, yeah. So the two things you will hear are the other two musicians on the record, let me say that right, Matt Swanton and Paul Choquette, doing tenor and Barry saxophones. That was tenor and Barry, right? Yeah. And they are the sax / keyboard section for Route 44, which was Ian Lacomb's band, who are currently sort of in hiatus, pretty much, kind of indefinitely, I think. But I always kind of, when we realized that this was pretty much like a T-Rex homage, I thought, okay, we gotta put the sax stuff going on there.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do it. We might as well do it. If they're gonna accuse us of overproducing, it's like, all right, motherfucker,
you right.
Accuse, you do what you got to do because you're absolutely right. Anyway, so this is called Annoying Qualities. There somewhere. We put a big pause between there. think
Yep.
I think Mark Bolan would have chuckled at that. Yeah, I forgot about the little piano part. You know, the ding, 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 ding.
It's our
That's
homage to Christine 16.
oh my God, totally. Which was an homage to that was on Grand Funk's American Band. You know, that was
Right.
a sort of a very Todd Rundgren flourish on that. So next up is a song "I Want to Go."
I Want to Go was written when I was playing with two other guys that it wasn't really a good time, but I was coming up with, song ideas. And the song itself is just like, it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense other than, look at me, I'm the king type thing. And I like the Herman Munster type keyboards we put in there. I thought that was good. I like the bass line too.
Yeah. I think, at least in my mind, this was, we were definitely thinking, very 60s kind of cross between, a Shel Talmy produced Kinks track kind of thing. At least, again, that was what was in my mind, but, God knows.
I have to say, incredible harmonica by Joe Auger on this track.
Thank you very much. That was fun to play. Again, another sort of production trick that we had to do on that is because I only had, because again, we're talking old school album making and song production where in the middle of the song there is a key change, which once again doesn't happen much these days. Very Who-like key change. So the key of the harmonica didn't work, so I had to, by the trickery of my tuning knob on the tape machine, I was able to tune it correctly. So you might hear that the harmonica is a slightly, just the tone is like, you wouldn't have known it if I hadn't told anybody. No one would know it, but
I didn't.
Yeah, but to make it so that it made sense with the key of the tune, I had to do that. So anyway, so this next one is called "I Want."
By my side,
That should be on a 45 in a jukebox somewhere.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, the only thing we didn't put on there was the the faux crackling record, which certainly really,
Yeah.
there comes where the production becomes like sort of inverts in on itself, and that's that's the perspective part. Yeah. You'll pardon me that this little guy has joined us because
All right.
he's this one is he's showing his age a little bit. He's a little slower, can't jump up as much, and all that kind of stuff. So he's just kind of hanging out. He likes to sort of when he knows like when I'm doing this, and so he'll either like howl in the background because he wants to like, put his 2 cents in, right?
I remember that.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Both cats, I think, are
Yeah.
probably a record in some way. I gotta do real quick while we do this. So now I know the next song, or well, put it this way, the next set of songs. Excuse me, I'm doing the Instagram as we do as well. So the next 5 songs before the 11th song, because the 11th song is sort of the sort of denouement of the thing. But I the way that I've always heard these 5 songs is as a suite, and we talked about this a lot, and I think that it took me forever. It seems just that, like, I remember just like I have notes and notes upon notes upon notes upon notes of this, and of just trying to get it absolutely perfect, and let's put that there. Okay, let me post that. And I'm gonna go live for the part 3. There was just something about whether there was clearly not a purposeful narrative there per se, but but I made one up in my head because you can.
Yeah.
My cat agrees with me in the background. But I remember going through, I don't know, mix, or this was in the mastering process of these 5 songs, of just trying to get the crossfades to work perfectly, and everything, because they do all crossfade together, and it was very purposeful to listen to them that way, as one piece, So at least for the first one, though, is so I don't like her, is another sort of that was also another in the running at one point for the start of the record.
Oh,
in my mind. Again, it felt like it was part of the 4 sort of very rock and rolly kinds of tunes on the record: Denial, Warsaw, Annoying Qualities, and then I Don't Like Her. They're all of a piece. They're all of a type. I don't know. What's any thoughts about that one?
I Don't Like Her, I wrote with Oasis in mind. I wanted.
Oh yeah.
I right. I thought if I was gonna write a song for Oasis, this one I think would be good for them, and I can hear Liam singing it for some reason in my head.
All right, so now I'm gonna have to in my head see what that would sound like. All right, so, and what I want to do is, as we listen to each song, I'll probably do a little bit of a backup so we can hear the crossfades and stuff. Because for me, again, it was all about the joins. Okay. They were very specific. But anyway, so this is called "I Don't Like Her."
like her. I don't like her. I don't like her. Not at all. I don't like her. Not at all. I don't like her. Not at all. I don't like her at all.
Yeah, that's another. That's another potential for Dress to Kill. I think.
I don't know if Paul would sing it though, because
No,
usually
no,
it's
no,
like
God, no. This
we're
that was,
being downtrodden, we're gonna make it. You know, that's all his words.
that was an Ace Frehley tune, man. I always heard
Oh
like
wow!
seriously. Think about how Ace sings, like the perfect, and that like and that woozy solo, and it's such an Ace Frehley sort of
Hey,
solo.
thank you. I mean, you never
Totally.
know. Maybe he keeps coming out with records, so he's still at it.
He's still at it. I
He might
figure.
he might need material.
Well, he's doing what? This is what the second, third volume of uh, cover stuff he's doing.
It's
He's done.
good though. I like what I heard.
Yeah, no, it is really good. The past two regular solo albums he did, Anomaly and was it Space Invader, I think it's called.
Right.
Right. They're as good as his first one.
Yeah.
Back with the original. With the other three. Yeah, no, he's definitely in fine form there. So yeah, no, that to me was always like one of the unsung Ace Frehley tunes or something. And so I'm also remembering that like that song actually is not part of the suite. I'm remembering it now that it's
Okay.
actually the next four pieces. So I Can't Be That Bad, Salem, Falling Star, and Chance to Be. So the next song is I Can't Be That Bad.
That's like probably my favorite song on this whole record.
Oh yeah,
I remember hearing an early mix of it after we had recorded, and I said, "This is like I can see it like a video of some sort for this song." And I wrote it because I bought one of these capos, which I never owned before. So I was
yeah,
just fiddling around, and this song came out. It just sort of and
yeah.
the title is something I think everybody feels now and then.
Well, yeah, of course. Again, it's another one of those. I think the end of the record was starting with this song. This one going to Salem, Falling Star, Chance to Be are like your to me, and I mean to me, this is my favorite part of the record as well. It's you in full on real singer songwriter mode where it's like you're about as exposed for good or bad. I mean, as a songwriter, you kind of you know to me, any songwriter worth their salt is the songwriter who is not afraid to go there, to really kind of wear the heart on the sleeve or whatever, um, but still do it melodically, and I think again for me what I like about your songwriting more than anything, your melodies are just like they're so memorable and they're so so like after listening to this record again, I mean I'm fucked for the week, dude. I mean I'm good. Some of these the earworms are gonna like man, this it's a good thing really. But it's yeah. So for me, these last four songs, the way that they ended up just kind of falling into place on the record just worked out, and the way that we kind of stitched them together was kind of advantageous. So anyway, and I know that this one I Can't Be That Bad. I think we definitely caught a little bit of that My Sweet Lord acoustic guitar, ding 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 ding, that kind of chugging, kind of joyous but cautiously joyous or something like that kind of vibe. So anyway, so for me, this is the first part of a suite. un sort of titled or kind of like credited, so to speak. But in my mind, anyway, it's called "I Can't Be That Bad."
My
Okay, we can pause there because that transition is pretty obvious. But, so those songs. Um, so again, I obviously I can't be that bad, but then it goes into Salem. I remember
Salem.
you told me the story about this, but
It's two parts really to it. I had a dream of there was a Boston band way back when called Salem '66, which
I remember them
I
well.
love
Yep.
them. I just love
Yeah.
them. And I had a dream that they were singing a song called Salem.
Hmm.
That's where I got that. But when I wrote it, I realized it was about someone I knew a very long time ago that I became reacquainted with. And this person changed completely from the person I knew back then. And this person was very desperate in a lot of ways. And I tried to be there, but it became too much. And eventually I had to cut ties. And it's basically saying, enough already, be quiet. That's basically the gist of this song.
Yeah.
But I dreamed the music from Salem '66, playing it in my dream. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Appropriate enough. Yeah. Again, I always kind of looked at Salem as a bit of the that bit of that little bit of Who energy, especially with the acoustic guitars. You know.
I really like how that came out. I like playing it live.
Yeah.
Stu and Matt do a great job, and it's always powerful when we get into that song. I always like playing that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Definitely has that anthemic thing.
the Falling Star, it
Yeah.
was just something I was fiddling around with, and I wanted to sound like I was screaming through space, which that last note was basically me
Yeah.
if I was yelling in space, if you could do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I like how that came out. It's
Yeah.
it's a very strange song for me, and I
The
went
arrangement of that, I think, is again another one it's a standout. I think definitely, we're looking a bit Phil Spector-y, bit Brian Wilson-ish, a little bit of everything. But yeah, definitely that floating through space vibe was needed to be purveyed. Yeah, for sure. Um, and then of course, so the crossfade from Falling Star into Chance to Be, of course, had to be Wind.
yes,
Uh, and I know that you have a you have a particular story about Chance to Be, but in my head, the picture of it is very different.
yeah. Well, when I thought up the song, I wasn't in the best place.
Right.
Um, when you ask yourself a lot of questions, and it's something that we all do, and I think that to a large extent we shouldn't ask these questions of ourselves because it just puts us down.
Hmm.
You can't really work it out yourself when you're asking yourself things like this. But it's funny, when I wrote it, all I thought of was this video of a guy on a bridge with a with an old style telephone, and people are gathered around looking up at this guy on the bridge, and we play the orchestra, for this event. Is this guy going to jump off of the bridge?
Right.
And if I ever make that video, maybe that's why I'm not going to tell you how it ends. So,
Right. Yeah. Right. It was left to chance, and that's
right.
the Wind had a very specific purpose to this. And again, I think the reason why those four songs put together, you know, um, in Salem, you mentioned, you know, the S word, if we're going to say it, suicide. And, for me, yeah, Chance to Be was definitely clearly, like you said. I mean, I think there's all of us have gone through those moments of asking yourself those questions. Um, and and I think, I don't know, there was something to me about those four songs in that order just somehow made, literal sense to me, as a just as a how they just step each step was like toward you know toward Chance to Be, for good or bad. So anyway, so Chance to Be, and this is technically the finale of the record, because the 11th song is the hidden track, so to speak, the hidden non-hidden track. So Chance to Be is.
That you could see me, then you would know how bad I'm feeling. I wish that you could save me from all the pain that comes from not being with you. Perhaps I should jump off of the bridge. I don't have the guts, so I sit here on a stone, and King Charles watches all from his pedestal. Hold
Great touch.
I just love the TikTok of that. Until finally,
It just continues on and on because everyone always asks, wants to know certain things about themselves.
right. So not all.
When you heard that little click track thing,
Yeah.
the click from the thing.
Part of me like that sort of infinite ending there. Like, you know, again, another thing that on vinyl you can make that locked groove, like in the old style, when you before you had the turntable that would pick itself up, that would just sort of stay in the groove, and it would just do that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So that was kind of partially what was in my head there. But yeah, I think that's one of my favorites in general. I think, especially of the record, but of yours as well. It's you know, evocative, just a really great melody, great words. You know, and just the way that the production came out. You know, just like again the visuals, kind of like what you were talking about. But you also part of the story is though you were saying that like you were when you're sitting on the stone, you were sitting you were the story was you were at what is that, at the fort there? What was it called? King.
Oh, I was on the Charles Bridge in Prague.
That's right. That's right.
And at the beginning of it is a statue of King Charles.
Right.
I just sort of like, you know, added him in there.
Right. Right. Yeah, in the mix. Yeah. So to me, that, you know, and then so of course we just added that little slight reprise of Warsaw, just so that way we could hear, you know, so kind of hear you know, you can kind of hear it in your voice where you're saying, you know, it's all done, we're all done. It's like, you know, that moment of sort of, oh my God, we somehow got through this. But then, you know, we go to, okay, so those of you who have bought the record, obviously, or are listening to this record 300 years from now, yes, the record's called 10 Songs of Pain because originally it was only supposed to be 10 songs. Andy kept writing or kept bringing me songs. I thought, oh, screw it, I like that song too. I like that song too. So we just did all of them. And you know, the idea would be the 11th song would be the hidden song, so it was called the 11th song. So it was a holdover from the original concept of the record, but because it was called the so yeah, it's meant to be about as you know, reasonable as anything. So anyway, here's the 11th song, and this is the only take that was ever done of it for obvious reasons, because you know, it needed to be what it was. There's a big long pause before this, so I'm gonna actually try and get rid of some more pause because we paused it for almost a minute after that last track.
What are you recording for?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I've never been in a studio. This is called the 11th song, and it's for somebody very special who lives far away, and this is for her. The 11th song. There is beauty on the inside, but all you care about what's on the outside. But someday when you'll see me, you'll think that you are dreaming, and you'll grow to love me as I am. I thought for sure that you would say yes, but you said no, just like all the rest. And people laughed at me and they verbally attacked me, said you'll never get her because you're an ugly man. Say what you want, I am confident. Doesn't matter what they say, 'cause she will love me any day now. I am crazy on the outside, and you are normal on the inside. Together we are even, so please don't think of leaving, 'cause without you, I'll just want to die. Play all your games, I'll still feel the same. Doesn't matter what they say, 'cause you will love me anyway now. I am beautiful on the inside, but all you care about what's on the outside. But someday when you'll see me, you'll see all that's within me, and you'll fall in love with me just as I am. 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 Just as I am.
Oh, I forgot about that. So yes, the things we do for you have to put the ubiquitous record thing in the record scratching.
Got to do it.
At one point, I think I had done a mix or an edit of where it actually did end with that final flourish.
Right.
But it didn't seem to.
I like this better.
Yeah, same here for sure. Yeah, so old scratchy 78, of course. Yeah, no, I think it's a perfect ending to a very eclectic record. Has anybody reviewed it and said that word in the review?
No, believe it or not, it's played all over the world.
Yeah,
through internet radio, and I actually went to Europe. My wife in the end of 2018.
that's right. Yeah, you guys went to London and a few other places.
2019. Right? I'm sorry. And we went to London and the Netherlands, and I was able to give out some of the CDs. There's a cab driver in Papendrecht, Netherlands, with it in his cab. I hope he's still listening. You better still be listening to it. And a record store owner in Amsterdam, and we left it at the Clizzled Arms in Muswell Hill, where the Kinks grew up.
Oh, that's cool.
In their kitchen, they better be cranking it when they're making that food. But yeah, I've tried and still try to get it out there, and anybody with ears, I want them to hear it.
For sure. Well, I think one of the things I want to do, or that I'm sort of putting it out there in the universe, and hopefully the universe will provide, as they say. The idea of doing some sort of like a radio show like this as a means to retire, potentially. Listen, if I could somehow make a retirement off of something like this, and then be able to do something similar to like what that what other internet disc jockeys are doing, that's all I would want to do. So for me to be the idea of being able to put this stuff up and out there is more attractive to me, and the fact that even when we were recording this record, this wasn't doable in the same way. Now, ironically, with the pandemic the way it is, it's like it's made things like this a lot more sustainable and doable.
Yeah, this is really great what you're doing. I like the podcast.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to figure out ways. I mean, it's easier with music and things that aren't that kind of fly under the radar of the copyright. Right. So one can't play some more mainstream things that are heavily part of the algorithm that's going to find it and mute it because it's violation or whatever the heck it is. And it's like, so I'm trying to figure out the ways of subverting that, because I want to talk about other people's records. I want to talk about mainstream records. I want to talk about the less mainstream records and the alt records and things like that. In the same way, I want to be able to listen to the whole track and then
Right.
make them later. So I'm looking into doing some other. There's some other avenues out there that along with well, AM or FM radio, money wise, probably wouldn't work. But there are internet, kind of like with that dude, Q. What is it? Q Track or whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
yeah. He
Q, yeah.
does. He's involved with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's I think a lot of those internet radio stations like that are such where you pay a certain amount to be able to broadcast when you broadcast, but you're able to play and pretty much anybody's music, and it's covered. And
Excellent.
that's what I want to have happen. But then be able to do it with video and the whole nine yards. So I'm still working on that, and but again, I've recorded tonight, so I'll definitely put this up on YouTube. There shouldn't have been anything flagged tonight, I don't think. So so this would also be available up on my Facebook page as well.
Okay.
And the the Instagram side of it, all they're hearing and seeing is just my voice, so it's kind of
Right.
kind of doesn't work that well, but whatever. Just another way of kind of promoting it. So anyway, it's about 10:20.
Thank you for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think let's once we have a better idea of what's happening, and with Stu and us again, I got my second shot a week from tomorrow, so let's keep each other posted, and
Okay.
once oddly enough, events are starting to happen at school again. So, but once commencement, the quasi commencement is over.
Right.
And you remember that refrain for 6-7 years when we were working on this thing. Oh, I'll have more time, and after the commencement.
Yeah, we got it done, man. We got it done.
Yeah, for sure. So let's start looking into to the follow up for sure.
Yeah. The 9-volume set.
9 volumes now. Wow.
Yeah.
Or at the start of the night. Wow.
It's called the kitchen sink tape.
Be like the Lou Reed Metal Machine music. It's basically you singing into the kitchen sink.
Whatever fills up side 8. Well, thank you. Have a happy Easter.
Yes, and happy Passover.
Thank you.
That celebrate and kind of go from there. It's an early one this year, right? First,
It's over tomorrow.
Weekend of April. Yeah. So I will. Let's see. Like I said, it's Saturday, April 3rd, and it's about 10:22. It's been a long night. I'm going to go get a treat before I go to sleep. And for those of you that come, all the thousands and hundreds and thousands of you that will be watching these 200 and 300 years from now, I'll be back next week, as hopefully the file still exists, so you'll be able to watch it in order. So, but I'll be back next week at 7:30 with something or other going on.
Take care.
Come on back. So, Andy, thanks a lot. It was really great having you. I'm glad
My pleasure.
We can do this again at some point down the road.
Take care.
All right, man. Take it easy, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.